the phone. Joe Arpaio was convicted of ordering his cops to stop people who looked like you, who looked Hispanic, and basically intimidate them. And there's this long line of people whose families have been in Arizona for generations who are saying, I got intimidated, I got hassled, I got busted, I had my civil rights compromised by Joe Arpaio. Why is Donald Trump congratulating that kind of behavior? Is this a shout out to his white racist base that, yes, that he hates Hispanics, they hate Hispanics,
Listen,
and we're going to support anybody who hates Hispanics?
Good policing is not racist, okay? We have to enforce the letter of the law. And the one thing that you're not taking into consideration here is that Arpaio is a sheriff on a border state. I mean, there's so much illegal immigration pouring into there and the negative effect that it has on this country. You say nothing about the 1,927 commutations, clemency granted by the executive branch by Barack Obama to people like these drug dealers that are killing our fathers, our sons, our brothers.
Wait a minute, did you just change the topic to Barack Obama? Honest to God, this is your strategy, Julio? You're going to complain about Obama's gone.
To me, and they asked me for ID and anything that they wanted, I'd say, you know what, you're doing a great job, officer.
So you're fine living in a police state.
Thank you for asking.
You're just fine living in a police state, and if the day comes when they say, Julio, because you're Hispanic, you've got to wear a purple star on your shirt, you're going to say, fine, I'll do that?
Or Latino descent, or whatever you want to call it.
You going to answer my question?
Well, go ahead. I'm sorry. I will.
It sounded to me like you were saying that you're just fine living in a police state, and that if somebody like Arpaio came along and said, Julio, you got to wear an orange star on your shirt every day because you're Hispanic, that's fine with you.
And that's not, you can't equate it to what happened during the Holocaust. I think that's so, and that's not what they're trying to do either. Basically what they're doing is if you're stopped by the police and you're driving in the car, they're required to ask you for identification. And the reason it became a flashpoint,
but they're not required to stop you, Julio.
Defend people who are being stopped in vehicle stops. If you're stopped in a vehicle, whether you're American or whoever you are, you have to show documentation and proof that you own that vehicle, that you're registered to drive that vehicle.
But the police don't have to stop every vehicle. They have to stop vehicles that they believe are involved in the commission of a crime. And simply being brown while driving isn't committing a crime.
These are not immigrants. I know everybody tries to have. I was just listening to your previous segment where you were talking about emotion being more important than intellect or common sense or whatever. However, I forgot how you phrased it.
Oh, that was a book report. No, Julio, you heard that. Most people didn't.
Logic, and there's a lot of illegal immigrants in this country.
So, okay. So let me just get this right. You are. What would it take to cause you to say,
it's not a police state. I don't look at it like
my government has stepped over the line.
I'm a Jew in Nazi Germany. It's not like that.
What would it take?
All they're going to do is ask me for ID, which I will happily provide to them.
What would it take?
Pat them on the back for doing their job.
Okay, so at what point do you say, hey, you're not doing your job anymore? You don't mind being stopped in traffic because of the way you look. That's what you're saying, right?
No, I mean, if I live in a border state and they have that much of a problem, I think in time it's a temporary issue. Once it becomes an environment that's hostile to illegals, what happens is they will leave. If you start sanctioning the people that hire these people, and you fine them to the point where they're never going to take that risk again, to save a little money on labor, the opportunities dry up. And self-deportation, which a lot of people hit Mitt Romney on, and I'm a conservative, and I certainly had a lot of reasons to hit Mitt Romney, but that's a real concept. Once you sanction the employers, once you start doing a little bit of grabbing and deporting, the people will realize that they're not, in a friendly sanctuary sort of environment anymore, and will leave. It does happen.
Yeah. I agree with you, and have written about that. And what I keep saying is we don't have an illegal immigrant problem in this country. We have an illegal employer problem in this country. That you've got you've got broadsheet newspapers being given away just south of the border with help wanted ads in Spanish for meatpacking companies in the northern states. And you've got companies that are openly advertising for people. If you can get to the United States, we'll hire you. And that's wrong. That's an absolute wrong thing. But the fact of the matter is that conservatives and Republicans have known this forever. 14 years ago, I on this show, I was broadcasting from one of these anti-immigration conferences, and sitting there talking with Pat Buchanan. And I'm like, Pat, this problem that we have is because of white, wealthy employers. When are we going to come down on them? And he's like, I don't remember specifically what Pat Buchanan said, but broadly speaking, I'm telling you,
I see a lot of people at all levels.
For decades now, the Republicans have been laying the blame on brown people rather than on rich white employers. They're going to continue to play you.
Well, it's a combination of both, but I see it at all levels because I see low-level employers, people that run smaller businesses that employ illegals. I see people that just get these people to do work on their houses or do this or do that.
Oh, sure. Once the big guys have certified it as okay, everybody else doesn't.
But that's a combination of both, because the other part you have to understand is because of the porous border, what we're letting in is the drugs. It's really the drugs and the effect that it has on the society.
No, the majority of the drugs coming into this country,
as well as the labor.
For example, we have a big problem right now with fentanyl killing people all across the country. Mm-hmm. That stuff is coming from China and North Korea. It's not coming from Mexico.
In this country, in a lot of ways too. But I think that what winds up happening is.
But back to my original question, Julio. I'm saying what Joe Arpaio was doing is wrong. It's unconstitutional.
No, I don't think it's wrong or unconstitutional.
And a federal court agreed with me.
But it's the enforcement of the law. Listen, there's a lot of.
No, he was breaking the law.
Activism.
That's why he was prosecuted.
Law doesn't mean what it used to be if it intrudes with someone's feelings.
He was breaking the law.
We have 30 million upwards of people here that should not be here. At a certain point, America has to enforce their laws. And that's
so you're okay with the President of the United States saying that somebody who breaks the law and is convicted of it, breaks the Constitution? I mean, this wasn't just the law. The Constitution guarantees due process to all people.
It doesn't. They're not here legally. That's not their Constitution.
The 14th Amendment does not say only citizens have equal protection. All people have equal protection. Throughout the Constitution, it refers to people.
The counted as illegal immigrants. I'm sorry, I hate to say it like that. But
illegal immigrants have rights too.
The effect that they have on this country, they should be met with a hostile environment so they leave.
So then you're, wow. You realize what kind of slippery slope this is from what you're saying right now to FDR locking up the Japanese?
We're going to ask you for ID, and if you're not here legally, you have to leave. That's what I mean by hostile, not physically hostile.
Yeah, well, that's what's going on, but that's, wow, okay.
That's fine. Well, Dave,
Julio,
you know what? That's the law being enforced.
No, that's the law being broken. That was what a federal judge ruled. But in any case, Julio, thanks for dropping by. Interesting talking.
Thank you so much.
Okay, Julio Rivera. You can tweet him at OHYEAH. It's ITS Julio JULIO and reactionarytimes.com. Thanks, Julio.
No problem. Have a great one, Tom.
Yeah, you too. We'll be back.